Okay, so the today topics are schedule apex, invocable method, apex sharing, and there is a concept called with, without, and inherited sharing. So governor limits, test class, test addresses. Okay, so these are some concepts. So let's see first invocable method. Okay, so invocable method. Invocable method can be called from the process builder. If you want to call the apex from the process builder, then you should go for the invocable method. Process builder. Okay, so it's the syntax of the invocable method is first thing, it should be public and it should be static and it should be void. Okay, this is mandatory. Then method name, it allows only primitive data types, that is list of primitive data types. List of primitive data types only it's allowed, no other parameters, only list of parameters. Okay, so then another thing is, so you should use invocable method. Invocable. Okay, so let's create invocable or invocable method. Let's see. So how to create invocable method? Okay, so first thing, let's write invocable example, and there should be only one method, that is invocable method in the class. There should not be no other invocable methods, only one invocable method per class. Okay, so first invocable. Let's say students only. If you want to set a student email address, something. Okay, set list of SIDs. Okay, so because it should have only the list of IDs. Invocable method. For this IDs, if you want to set email ID to one of the student, we are just setting then for form update. Whatever the student records are created or edited, so we just send this. Now let's see how we can call the invocable method from the process method. just go for process builder. Let's say on creation, see this, if initial payment changes, this is going to be done. Now here the record is created, okay. I'm adding another student email, not is empty. Is empty, is null, or let's say empty string also. Add actions, call Apex. Okay, email to students. Simply call the Apex. Invocable example will be available here. Here. So what is the variability here? Here you have to pass the reference of the field like student record ID. So this is how you have to call the Apex. So first you have to create invocable method. Okay, this is also asynchronous Apex only. Invocable method, if you declare like this, then only it will be available in the process builder. So there is another thing also, invocable variable. Okay, so if you declare that invocable variable, that will be available in the process builder for setting the values. Okay, so you try that. So here we are setting this activate. Okay, go to the student. Now let's create one student here. Setting any value. Required. The default value. student email is not required. Okay, here, save it. Now the record is created. Now let's see the values. Okay, invocable student email is not populated. So what is the reason? So reason is, if you take this process builder, see here, initial payment is greater than 0, so simply it's created the another recorder for the payment. Payment record is created. Okay, so the first condition is true, that's why it didn't check the second condition, right? If first condition is false, then it will come here, right? Now let's go and change. Just simply edit, save it, check the details. Is to null, save it, activate it, now edit, save, done. Okay, so now let's try to create a new student. So the first condition is true, it's only executed. Okay, so that's how the invocable method should be called. Invocable method is just to call from the process, and even from flows also you can call the invocable methods. Okay, so if you want to learn more about this, just go ahead and search for so long back process builder was not bulkified, now it's bulkified. So here, so if you want to give the label and description also, you can give for the invocable method, and you can write it like this. Okay, what are the considerations? So invocable method annotation supports two things, label and description. So the invocable method considerations is must be static, public or global. Okay, return type should be void only. Okay, only one method in a class have the invocable method, so other annotations cannot be used with the invocable method. Okay, so only one. Okay, so the list of primitive data types are the list of primitive data type. Generally object type is not supported, so means as objects or any other objects are not supported as the parameters. Okay, so return type is null, so it should be always void. Okay, so here always void only. That's it on this. So invocable method means it's used to call from the process builder using the REST API, and it can be called from the flows also. This is also one kind of asynchronous support. Okay, so write down about this. This is about the invocable. There is another thing called apex sharing. Okay, so apex sharing. So usually you have seen the sharing models like using the first one is profile. Okay, second one is permission set. Third one is there. Then fourth one role hierarchy, and fifth one sharing rules. You have sharing rules. Inside the sharing rules, you have manual sharing, then sharing rules, criteria based sharing rules, owner based sharing rules. You have. Along with them, we have Apex managed sharing or Apex sharing. So, how can you share the record to the specific user or group? Okay, using the Apex. So, usually, what you are doing is when we have some kind of universities. So here there will be a button for sharing the record, right? You guys have already seen that. We have seen college. Okay, so usually let's see what we university is private, right? So now there should be a sharing button on university. Let's check the universities. There is a sharing button. So here you can share to any user. Here you can share to any user roles and subordinates like this, right? So using the same way here, what you can do is there will be a specific object for sharing the records. Okay, so that is called even, let's see, for us university share. Okay, so university share, you just see id, parent id, user r, roll calls. If you execute this, if some records are shared to any user, the root cause will be there. Okay, so here owner or superior or q. So what is the reason of sharing the record and what kind of access level? Okay, so access level is read, edit, all. Okay, read will be there, edit will be there, all will be there. So if you want to know about that, what will be the different levels of sharing, so you can have let's try this. So there will be different objects. Let's say for the custom objects, whatever the custom object it is, the sharing records sharing object will be like this. Let's say student double underscore share object. So it will add double underscore instead of C, it will be share. That is for the custom object. If you go for any standard object, let's say account, account share, contact share, something like that. And the levels of and fields will be different. Here id, account id, so instead of parent id it is having account id, then group or user id, account access level, opportunity access level, case access level, contact access level, something like this. Okay, if you have access to the contact, then you should give the access to the contact, sorry, if you have access, and then you should have access for contact opportunity as well. So that's why, and even for cases also. So that how you can use the account share object. And then this is for university share object, because this is the custom object. Okay, how to use this? So here, let's say if you want to share to any one user, so how you can do is you have to create the record for this. Okay, so how to create, however you are doing with the university, sorry, university share, you share equals to new university underscore share. Okay, so now here you have to give parent id. First thing, you share dot parent id, this should be university id. So whatever the record you are going to share, that is called as parent id. Here let's say anyone here. Okay, university, then you share dot, then another thing, whom you are sharing. First thing, what you are sharing. Second one, whom you are sharing. The sharing can be done to the group of users or any individual users. Let's say I need to have any user, let's say select. So this is user or group ID. Here you have to pass this. Then simply, what is the access level? First one, what you are going to share. Second one, whom you are going to share. Third one, what type of access you are going to give. So that is you share dot. This is access level. See here, access level. Now simply insert you share. Okay, if you share like this, then what happens? This is called apex based sharing. Creating the share record, and with the record id, user or group id, then access level. Simply insert it. Now this record can be shared to that specific user. Okay, now just use this. User or manual sharing, right? So you are creating the record manually, right? That's even it is created automatically also using the trigger or something. That's called manual sharing. Okay, so they're kind of thing role based sharing, and then criteria based sharing, or it is OWD or owner, superior, whatever it is. Okay, so this is how this is called apex sharing. It's called apex based sharing. If you want to share some opportunity or something, then you have opportunity share object, contact share object, account share, lead share object. The share object will be there for each and every object. Okay, so that's called apex based sharing. Next one. So with sharing and without sharing. Okay, where is this? Is it opened? Okay, so here object name level access. What kind of access? Edit, read, all permissions. All permissions means reading, editing, and deleting also. Okay, now so parent ID, the record ID, whatever the record you are going to share, that record ID. So root cause. So root cause means what is the reason you are sharing. So this field cannot be updated, but it will be automatically added. How it is shared, manually or how it is. Okay. User or group ID. So you can give any public group, or so a sharing group associated with a role, or any territory group, or you can give individual user. That's how you have to share the records. So here job set. This is how you guys have to work. This is sharing, apex based sharing. And you have another question called with, without, and inherited sharing. With sharing, without sharing, and inherited sharing. So this will be asked in the interview questions. Okay, so by default there are two kind of executions. Apex can be executed in two modes. Done in two modes. One is system context, or let's say system mode, then user context, system context, user context, or system mode, user mode. Okay, so what is user context and system context? Okay, so usually whatever the code it is running, that will run in the user context. This is default. Code will run always in the user mode. Means whatever the permissions the user is having, that will be restricted. Okay, so let's say if you are doing some edit or create permission and you don't have that permission on the record, then it will not be allowed, right? Simply that's called user context. And then you have another context called system context. System context means it runs in the system administrator mode. Means system administrator mode means you can do whatever you want. Okay, system administrator will have all permissions, right? That is called system context or system mode. Okay, so here if you want to run the apex, okay, apex runs in user context first. User mode means it restrict, or let's say it runs the code, and by honoring the permissions of that specific user. Okay, so what are the permissions that user is having, based on that user permissions only the code will run. If there is anything which is not able to access for that user, then it throws the exception error. That is common. Now, so system context means if you, it runs in the system mode simply. Okay, now how can you run a specific code in system context or in user context? Okay, so with sharing keyword, if you keep at the class level, let's say you have created some class here, if you use with sharing, by default it will be with sharing only. Okay, that will run in the always in the user context. Okay, it runs in the user context. Even if you keep that word or if you don't keep that word, it runs in the with sharing, means user context. Okay, so there is another thing called without sharing. So now what happens is the code runs in the system mode. Okay, even the current user doesn't have specific permissions also, then it runs in the system mode, so that will be able to do that. Okay, when we can go for the without sharing, let's say some specific code or let's say some specific object which is not given access to any other user. Okay, but we need access to that specific object in some case, then you can go for without sharing. Okay, and there is another thing called the inherited sharing. Okay, so inherited sharing. Let's say if you have two classes, you can call one class from another class also, right? So now you are calling the one class from another class. So whatever the parent class is having some kind of sharing setting like with sharing or without sharing. Okay, the same can be inherited to the child also if you keep inherited sharing. Now example is if this class is called from another class and that class is having without sharing, then this class is also runs in the without sharing mode. If the parent class is in with sharing, then this also runs in the with sharing. Okay, now here if you keep something with sharing, if parent class is in without sharing, then this class runs in the with sharing because we are mentioning as with sharing. Okay, so if we keep without sharing, if parent is in with sharing mode, and and when it comes to this class it runs in the without sharing because we are externally saying that without sharing. Okay, so that runs in the user context and system context. Okay, so that is the example and that is the explanation about the sharing of in share with sharing, without sharing and inherited sharing, three kind of things. Okay, now let's see. So we can see one of the schedule apex. Okay, so next thing is let's see. I'll tell you that governor limits later test class. So now let's see the schedule apex. Okay, so schedule apex means if you want to run a specific piece of code in some time intervals, let's say every day or every 1 hour, every 2 hours, then you can go for the schedule apex. This is also one kind of the asynchronous apex. Okay, so even if you want to schedule the batch apex to run every day, then also you can go for schedule apex. Okay, so how to create the schedule apex? Here what you have to do is schedulable interface should be implemented. Okay, for queuable apex implements queuable interface. For schedule apex you should implement schedule interface. For batch apex batchable interface. Okay, for in queuable apex there will be one method called execute. Even in schedule apex there will be one method called execute, but in batch apex there will be three methods: start, execute, finish. Okay, you should learn all them with even with syntaxes. Okay, so now implements schedule. Okay, now here the method is public void execute of system dot schedulable. Even if you give schedulable context also, it will take it. There is no issue. Yes. Okay. Now, let's say if you have some kind of things. So this one, if I want to run the batch apex, okay, you have batch apex, right? Database dot execute batch. default, you can call the batch apex like this also, or you can write your own code here in schedule apex. Okay, you can pass the parameters however you have done for the batch apex or cube apex. Okay, so now this is just schedule apex. How to do this? You have to use implements schedulable interface. There will be only one method called execute. Now this is very simple, but now how to execute this one? How to schedule this? Okay, so if you implement schedulable, simply go to your apex classes. If you go to apex classes, there is one thing called schedule apex. If you click on this, whatever the classes are implemented schedulable interface, those will be displayed here simply. This is one way of scheduling this schedule apex. Okay, here how do you want to run? Every day, weekly or monthly, or when you want. So Sunday, Monday, something. If you want run every day, so that way you can select and when to start from today to, so let's say if you want to run till 2022. Okay, you can use like this one. And what time you want to do, so 12 a.m, 1 a.m, 2 a.m. Okay, so you can have this one for every hour or something. Okay, you can have, so you can schedule this apex to run every day at 2 p.m. Okay, if you want to run monthly also, you can use this on first day of every month, or on third day or fourth day or Sunday or something, when you want to run, that you can run it. Okay, so that is the schedule apex. This is one way of scheduling the apex class. Go to apex classes, click on schedule apex, then you can select the schedule apex class. Here you can do this. This is one way of doing this. And another way is, if you want to run at 1:30 p.m. or 1:30 a.m., that cannot be done through the UI. Okay, so in that case, what you have to do is, you can schedule the class using system.schedule system.schedule. This is the method you have. So this method having three parameters. Okay, this is schedulable apex. This is a job name, whatever the name you want, the string, and here cron expression is very much important. You know that the thing is, here simply you can create an object for this, that will call the apex, that execute method can be called. Here job name you can give like this. My schedule job. You can give whatever the name you want. Then here cron expression is very much important. So what is the cron expression? Cron expression is at what time it should run. Okay, so that will have like in the format of, first it will be seconds. Okay, then minutes, hours, day means date, month, then day, so this is date, or let's say day or date, day or date, then here month, year, and there are all lot of things here. First six numbers are very much important. seconds starts from 0 to 59, minutes 0 to 59, hours 1 to something 0 to 24, right? So 23.2359. Okay, so how to do this? So you don't need to worry about how to create the cron expression. We have one of the cron maker. But you should learn how to use them, otherwise you will be in trouble. Okay, so now here, let's say how you want to run the cron expression. So for every 1 minute or for every 1 hour, so you have to use every 1 hour only. In Salesforce, the minimum time interval is for every hour. Okay, if you want to run for every half an hour, then you have to submit 2 jobs, okay, with the same class. Now here, if you want to run every hour, just use generate. See this is seconds, minutes, then 0 by 1 means every 1 hour and every day. Okay, now here again, let's say daily. If you want to run every day at 12 a.m., now here it will be 0 0 12 hours every day. Here it say 1 by 1 means every day, 1 day per time. Okay, so now let's say every 2 hours. If you want to run at every 2 hours, now here it says 0 by 12 means every 2 hours. Okay, so if you give like every 6 hours, runs for every 6 hours. Okay, here cron expression will be see when it will be scheduled. So it will be scheduled at 12 a.m. and 18 something like this for every 2 hours. Okay, and if you want to weekly, and what day you want to run, let's say Monday, Tuesday and Saturday. If you want to run it, see this. Now here say this 00 at 12 a.m. Okay, every day and every Monday or something. Here you have giving Monday, Tuesday, Saturday. Okay, and every year. That's how you have to do. So let's say for monthly day of, let's say for every 2 months, or let's say for every 3 months, if you want to run on day first. So here cron expression is like this. This is month, right? So this month for once in 3 months. Okay, so this is how it runs. Now let's see, if you want yearly, use on January 1st every day every year, then okay 12 a.m. at 1 1 and every year. This is date and this is month 0101. Okay, so this is how you have to generate the cron expressions. So every cron expression you have seen first seconds, minutes, hours, then day and date, right? Day and month. Okay, after that here day means every day, whatever it is, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, if you want you can have, and then every year. Star means every year. Okay, so now let's see, let's say I want to run for every 1 hour. Okay, just execute. Okay, starting at, let me give 10 5 generate. Now here this is a cron expression for every 1 hour. Yes. Copy this cron expression. Okay, now just execute. Now if you go to the schedule jobs, here you can go to schedule jobs. Here you can see the job, my scheduled job, and when it is submitted at 12:02 a.m., when it should run at 11 a.m. next scheduled time. Then, so this is the schedule apex time. Okay, how come this is? This is ours 10 at 05 means every day at 10:05. So this is actually this is submitted time and it is taking the Europe time. That's why it is showing that 5:10 a.m. it will be run according to the database time. Okay, so now this is how you have to schedule the class. Now usually what they will say that we need to run the date or we need to run this job every day at 12 a.m. something like this. Okay, now let's see if I give 5 0 5. Job is already there, then won't. Second, first. Let's okay. It runs now. So now this runs at 10 a.m. Now let's change all the student email address. important thing is, so if the job is already in progress or if it is scheduled, you can't change anything. Let's say I'm doing this 1 2 3, save it. Now it throws the error like, so the job is in progress. Okay, now first what you need to do is you have to delete it, then if you want you can select it. Okay, if any job is in pending you cannot change it. Now let's execute this. At 10 a.m. it should be executed, then it should change to my batch 123 email. Let's use this one. Okay, here scheduled job is there at 10 a.m. it should be executed. So you have to learn about the cron expressions. So an important thing is you can have up to 100 scheduled jobs at one time, and if you want to track them you can use this cron trigger and cron job detail. These two objects you can use and you can get the details here. So this has been changed because schedule apex has been executed at 10:10. Okay, so now again if you see this, what is the next time of schedule? See this automatically it is changed here. 2/1 means second month first date. Tomorrow at so 10:10 a.m. it runs early. Okay, so as we don't need, just remove this. That's about the schedule apex. And the schedule apex, if you want to know about this, okay, got. Use the cron trigger. Here, ID, cron job detail ID, next time, previous time, state, start date, end date, cron expression, how many times it is triggered, time zone, everything if you want to query. See this? So this is the thing called cron job detail ID. This is, and it is in waiting state. It runs at 31st. So it is the database time, and then cron expression is this one 0, 10, 20 every day, right? And then times trigger. This is not triggered yet. So this is Asia Colombo time zone. Okay, now once if the user, so if at 10:20 once it is executed, here number of times triggered will be 1 because it runs on every day, right? How many days it is done, that will be there. And then another object is, this is cron job detail, cron trigger, and then there is another object called cron job detail. In interview the questions will be there where you can track whether the job is executed or in progress or waiting, how it is. Okay, now here go here and use this cron job detail also. This cron job detail will be having job name, ID and job type. That's it. So if you see this, my schedule job and job type is same. Okay, so if you want to learn about more cron job detail, you can learn this. So here you have to implement schedulable interface. Even cron trigger also you can use to track the thing. So here, so it shows that 0 to 59 seconds. First it will be seconds, then it will be minutes, then it will be hours, 0 to 20. Then again, so day of the month, 1 to 31st. Okay, so month can be, so January, February, March, something like, or 1 to 12. You can give however you want. Then day of the week, so in week 1 to 7. So it allows hyphen or star or question mark. L means last day. Okay, so this is how it works. And then optional year, it's not required. Okay, so this is how you have to use. And then even if you want to use cron trigger, So yesterday we have seen that, right? And the cron trigger object id, cron job type, cron trigger also it will be having. Cron job detail, cron trigger. Okay, so two objects. Cron trigger, cron job detail. Yes, these two you can use, and then if you want to track the job, here you can. Let's say in one of the thing. Okay, so here it is. Job ID is there. Now you don't want to run this job. Want to run this job, then what you can do is there is another method called system.abort job. Okay, if you give like this, then simply this job can be cancelled. Schedule system.abort job. Okay, only cron trigger IDs and batch. Okay, yes. Now if you refresh it, okay, using the system also you can use it. So that will be a question that how can you abort the job? System.abort job. Okay, methods you have to learn all of it. So that's about all of them. Then you have others. I'll explain it later. Okay, there's more than enough for today. It's class based practices and then government limits. I'll explain on Monday. Okay. Now if you want to